morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. My name is Maki 90, artist, journeyman, and illustrator, and we welcome you to page 28 of Maki's Sketch Diary. I cannot believe we're close to... I've drawn nearly 30 pages in this freaking sketchbook since the start of the year. How insane is that? We're getting close to 30 pages, and we still have like 120 something pages left in this sketchbook to do, so I'm going to be here for a while. But I cannot believe I've done on nearly 30 videos of this series, so I know we're gonna have another congratulations or another milestone right there real soon. Before we also get started, I also want to say a big thank you to you guys for the incredible support and everything. As it seems that last Monday's video on, my feelings about the whole why I didn't like, the kind of the undertones of She-Hulk and such, that seemed to get some traction last week, and I have you guys to thank for that. I really appreciate that, and I'm actually happy to see that, ever since we got 1K monetization, the sketch diary videos really are getting some traction. So, and especially in the algorithm and stuff, and you guys have been incredible supports, and I thank you everybody for coming out as always. So, and as far as disclaimer here, so I guess I'll put another one here, is just that of course I always like share, comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys think. I always put that at the end, and also have a thank you all for people who send me super chats during the premiere. I appreciate that. And then also we got a super thanks button, so I don't know how that is, but whatever, I read the comments anyway, so so this is gonna be an interesting one. This is gonna be one where I want you guys to kind of just hear me out on this, because I want to try to tie in what the drawing I was doing is about to kind of YouTube in general and such like that. See if that works. So it's going to be a little bit of a wonky topic, and hopefully I could be able to hopefully by the end of this video you guys can get a good understanding of kind of what I was trying to talk about. So let me begin by saying the drawing here is this was kind of a mishmash of kind of different things here and there, as I'm still on this sci-fi futurism kind of kick, and I had this idea of some robot or maybe a cyborg, just a cyberpunk style girl, even though she has like a bunch of like drone cameras around her, she still feels like she's being watched, like she's being hunted, like she's being on the run or something like that. And that's kind of the theme I was kind of going for, and that's kind of something I want to try to see if I could tie that into YouTube in a way, for and I guess in kind of a larger sense, your presence on social media and such, and that feeling of you're always being watched, whether it be by the little whether it be by whether it be by a single user or people who follow your content, or the big tech platforms that overlook the companies that overlook the platforms you're on. You always feels like you're being watched, or like everything you do is always going to be viewed when you put it out online, or you put it out on the internet for the people to see. I think it's in a sense that it in a way that it's also tied to YouTube as well. Whenever you put a video out, or you put a post out or anything like that, you're gonna have people watching. You're always gonna have people eyeing, and I think that's why it's important. That's why it's that's what we're here for, is we're supposed to get the eyes on us, get the eyes on our content, get the eyes on what we're trying to produce, and get what our feelings, our thoughts, what we want to create, no matter what it is, to try to get that out there and get some eyes on us. From my time on YouTube and just being around the groups and people over the years and such, I do I do get that. I do understand that importance. I do mean that importance of just like, hey, you never know who's always watching your content. You never know who's actually on your content for good or for bad, and you don't have any control over that. You just gotta you just put the content out and just hopes that it gets the eyes, and hopefully gets the people will see it and want to enjoy it and want to see more of it. I guess kind of the point where I'm getting at is that I guess sometimes it can be a positive thing. It could be a great thing, but sometimes it can also be this, if you let kind of like social media and the YouTube sphere and all that stuff consume you. One of those things is that you want to post every single little thing you do just so you can get those eyes on you, get those attention, get that, that, I guess you could say, that dopamine hit of views and attention, likes, comments, retweets, shares, you name it, subs and such like that. And it's definitely something that's you're going to need to have if you want to grow on these platforms. If you want to grow your base, grow your brand and such like that, and get your stuff, get your work out there, get your stuff, get that exposure, it's a lot of people do it for, just for the sole reason of doing those kind of things, just for exposure and such, and growing their brand or finding ways to grow their brand and such like that. But, there's always that kind of that. There seems to be the kind of the, a sense that you want to. How do I describe this? And I apologize if I'm not kind of getting my words and thoughts out coherently in this kind of subject matter I'm talking about right now, but. There's definitely lately there has been that sense of, because of just a lot of discourse, a lot of stuff that goes on, and because we're so consumed by social media, we're so consumed by sites like Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, I'm not gonna call them that, but and YouTube and such like that we want to it's such a big part of our daily lives that we have that desire to want to just post every single little thing about us and such like that. And it's just that because you have places like Twitter and such where the discourse is much more than on YouTube, or much less, on about the same amount, but it's very heavy discourse. It can sometimes lead to this feeling that the people who do watch your content, it makes you kind of feel that if you're like in this heavy discourse with other users or other people on different sites and stuff, it can lead to that feeling of, everybody who does watch you content, they watch for the good, and sometimes they can watch for the bad, the nefarious purposes, is like finding ways to, finding whatever is, say, I guess, for example, say like you got into a disagreement or something about a particular subject, like a movie or show or something, and, you've created, it caused kind of such a bad optic or a bad, relationship or a bad encounter with with you and the other user, that the other user is likely going to be, the other users could be, watching your content for nefarious purposes, as a way to get back at you, or as a way to like a gotcha moment, or try to dig up some dirt on you or such like that. And from being in the people that I'm around with, from being in the kind of the different circles that I was in for the past couple years or so, I get that sense, and I think I get a lot of that sense, and I know a lot of people, especially my colleagues, my friends and family, are much better about kind of, when it comes to kind of going around those kind of situations and such like that, where it's just like, you never want to have to, especially on YouTube, you never want to have to just kind of go over your, you always want to try to, you always never want to have that feeling like you have to look over your shoulder all the time every time you post something new. And a lot of it just because of, who you interact and who is nefarious. Is like who could not be, on the up and up, and it's always something it's always something I always kind of think about stuff whenever I'm, especially around kind of the groups that I've been in, around the the people I've been around who heavily focus on commentary and critiques and talking about what's going on in like pop culture and entertainment and such, and that it does bring out a lot of those people. It does bring out a lot of people who will only watch your content as a way to find some kind of reason or something, or find some kind of evidence or proof to get a gotcha out of you to bring your channel down, or to get you in trouble with your real life employers or something like that. I guess people in some ways people will say it as this is a quote unquote cancel culture kind of thing here. And it's something that I guess it kind of made me think about when I was doing this drawing and having kind of the idea behind the story of this drawing, of just kind of that no matter how many eyes are on you, and no matter how alone, and also kind of can say, so no matter how alone or secluded or sedated you always try to be, especially online, somebody's always watching. And you always feel like somebody's watching every little thing you do, for good or for bad. And if I try to kind of put these thoughts and images in kind of new faces or new minds of the people who sub to me and such like that, I apologize. I'm sorry, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying, I guess in a way you always want to try to be as, it's very important to always be careful in the World Wide Web, the internet space. To always try to be careful with stuff, because the internet is forever. What you put out there, everybody's gonna see it, and you better hope that just whatever you put out there isn't going to cast you in a bad light or ruin something for you. And it's something that internet will always never forget. And I think that's still important. I think that's still always important. But I also think at the same time, it's just that no matter what you do, it's always going to be watched, no matter what. And that's something that you can't get away from when you're on social media, when you're on posting stuff up, you're posting your art up and such like that, for everyone to see. It's something that unfortunately you can't escape from, but you just have to keep going, and you have to keep producing the stuff you love, and just keep being careful, and just always just try to be sure you're careful, and always try to make sure that you're maybe sometimes think twice about hitting that post. Sometimes just hey, if it's something that is definitely gonna cause like an uproar, or cause like cause discourse or something, sometimes maybe think twice about before hitting that send button, maybe think twice before making that video talking about it. But at the same time, you should never go your life, or you should never go your time on social media or on internet and such, just having to worry about that over your shoulder, having to be, afraid of that and mindful of that. It's just like, enjoy what you want to, put out what you like to do. And if it's something that you do want to say something and you're clearly passionate about it, then go ahead and do it. Sometimes you just like, especially a lot of the people I'm around with, a lot of my friends and such are just like, very carefree about what they post out there, and, not worry so much. But and there's somebody who's very vocal about what's in their mind, what's in their hearts about certain topics and such like that. And I think this never should be besmirched. But, sometimes a lot, but, from, the times I've been around, the people I've been around, is like, sometimes it's just people are not everybody's going to be on the up and up online, I guess you could say. Not everybody's going to be 100% pure, genuine, or have like these positive. I think most people online are. It's just that you do run into those. You can run into those. You potentially could run into those kind of people who aren't on the up and up. The people who may see what you're doing and may find a reason to dislike it, or, well, disliking it was fine, but if seeing it and find a reason to maybe bring you down, or find a reason to to quote unquote cancel you or something like that. And a lot of it can be just because what you may have said in the past may have the wrong kind of person. You may have struck a chord with someone, or hit a nerve with someone that they can't get it over with, or that you have immense and sometimes in cases it can happen here on YouTube, where it's just like you have amassed great success, and there's a lot of, and you may have run into people who are very envious and very jealous of that success, that they want that same kind of success as you have, and they're going to try to find a way to be like, if I can't have your success, then you can't have that success either. They're just going to try to bring you down and such like that. And it's like, it's something you always something I always, sometimes I think about, and it's like, sometimes I always wonder, it's just like, I'm so amazed and so grateful for so many people who do watch the content I put out and support me and such like that. But I've always had that, and I will be honest with you, I'll always have that feeling at the back of my mind of, some people may not like the content that I do, or what I've had to say on subject matters and such like that, or just the art I put out. I think about just kind of time in where it's just like, there's a lot of heavier focus on sensibilities and such like that, and making sure that you're catering to the sensibilities of everyone, and make sure that you don't wrong what you're posting, doesn't wrong wrong a certain person out there, or a certain group of people out there. And it's always something you have to, it's something that, if the case happens, do you try to make amends, try to apologize, try to do the right thing, make amends, and try to patch things up? Or do you stand strong in what you believe in? Do you stand strong with what you're in? You're not going to let them try to intimidate you, or manipulate you, or all those kind of things. It's like, there's a lot of things that kind of goes on when it comes to being online all the time and putting your stuff out there all the time, like I do. Sometimes I've had moments where I always wonder, is like, is this going to be the piece, the thing I draw, that's going to just set off some person on like Twitter or so to go after me or something? Or is it something that I was very passionate about, that I had something to say about in my heart? Is that gonna set off one person or a group of people who may not like what I had to say and try to go after me? Sometimes it's just, it's just it's sometimes it sometimes I always think about that once in a while. I guess you could say once in a while it always kind of looms in the back of my mind. But at the same time, but whenever that kind of situation and that kind of thinking about that is like, listen, are you steadfast? Are you strong in what you believe in? Are you strong in what you're saying? Are you willing to stand by what you're saying and not willing to buckle down, to not be intimidated? I think it's something that that I think we a lot can think about, And I would say part of kind of the inspiration for this is just that, seeing the how discourse is on YouTube generally compared to a site like Twitter where there's a lot of discourse over different things, and it's not always pleasant, like very unpleasant. I see it get personal, it can get all these kind of things. Sometimes it leads me to think, it's like, okay, should I just stick to just posting art while I'm on a site like Twitter, or is there something that I may have seen that may have gotten an emotion out of me? Something that made me so passionate and wanting to say something about it. Sometimes I think about that. I think about that all the time. It's just like, one, try to clean up my profile, clean up my YouTube, clean up this stuff out, so I'm not, focus on just the art stuff. A lot of times, just focus on, like, for me personally, is like, I'm an art channel first and foremost. My stuff is art and such, so I try to primarily, at least 97% of what I post is art related, is straight up art and such like that. But there will be those one or two times where it's just like, I see something that may have bothered me or may have gotten a reaction out of me, and I may want to say something about it. Like, I've told people this before, is that I don't quote, like on Twitter specifically, I don't quote tweet a lot. And stuff like that. But there are a few things that will get a reaction out of me, will get me to quote tweet and say something about it, because it's really bothered me. Like, for example, I think back to last month or 2 months ago with the whole situation between Black Sands Entertainment and the Rippaverse, Eric July and such like that. And when it ever brings up the topic of, say, race and, having your skin color basically be defined by what you do, and or have your skin or have people say that you don't have enough of this skin color because of what you vote for, what you believe in, or because you don't toe the line, you're not this particular skin color. And I see that all the time, and that's always gets a reaction out of me. That always gets a reaction out of me, and I stand by what I say, is that my skin tone does not define who I am, and you don't get to dictate. People don't get to dictate what how black you are, how much melanin count you have based on what you do or what you say, or because you're not towing the line, you're not considered as of this skin tone. And it's like, you don't speak for all people of this skin tone, of this race. You don't speak for all people of this gender. You don't get to be the arbiter of that, and I stand by that. And I will stand by that till my dying breath. So, but kind of, yeah, sorry for a little tangent. Sorry, a little bit of a tangent back there. But, I always think about that sometimes. Sometimes I do think about that. Sometimes I do think it's like, you know, maybe I said something that online that I was very passionate about, that hit a nerve with someone, or hit a nerve with a group of people, that where they might come after me for that. Or maybe it's the case of the art I put out might be too risque or such like that, and things like that. It's like one of the most common things that I see on Twitter and such like that, and from some of the YouTubers I follow, especially when it comes to art and doing like fan art and such, is like I see artists, I hear about artists get like bullied and harassed off of sites like Twitter because of us drawing a specific character from a fandom or something that the most of the people didn't like, or it comes down to people were getting outraged over say a character who's like a dark-skinned character has been painted light, and it might have been a case of just like, hey, that's kind of their style, that's kind of their coloring style, that's how they shade and such, but they get so much flack for it. Or in a case of like one or two artists, or just a couple artists, where it's like they draw something that's really cool, but they get so much harassment and attack from like fandoms such like that because of drawing something that is not of their culture, or it's like cultural appropriation, or in some cases like Orientalism and such like that. And that's stuff that gets thrown around all the time, and I see art. It's just like the whole. It's like I'm not shy about this. Where I say that I am very much against the whole. I guess you could say we can call them you can call them antis on Twitter. You can call them the art police. The Twitter police. It's like, yeah, these are people who just bully and harass and other people, stuff like that, and just wanting to bring somebody down because of maybe what they drew or who they associate with or all that kind of stuff. It's like, it always leads me to wonder, it's like, am I going to be next in line? Am I who's out to get me sometimes? And who's it's just that thought, listen, to kind of put a bow on this, I don't want, last thing I want you guys to do is to go through the internet and time social media having to just look over your shoulder all the time. But sometimes you do have to, but at the same time, you can't let that just define you. You can't let that just be so afraid of that all the time. Be happy, sometimes just post something you're happy about, post what you want to post, and just be mindful sometimes, be mindful of where your environment is, but at the same time, don't ever be afraid to. If you're very passionate about something, say it, speak it up, speak your mind. Don't ever feel that, you're going to be like this, like in this picture, the girl is hunted. She feels hunted. It's like, don't be the girl. Don't always be mindful of what you post sometimes, but at the same time, don't ever feel like you're being hunted. Don't ever feel like it's like not everybody, the stuff that goes on YouTube and on Twitter and other social media platforms, they don't reflect real life. So you're not, I don't want people to kind of have to worry about that all the time, and just like enjoy their time on social media, enjoy their time on Twitter and such like that, and make sure it's the best. Fill your feed with stuff that you like, stuff that you're very happy about, and stuff that you maybe want to be passionate about or talk about. And and you'll find those people. You'll find those people who do enjoy your content, who want to watch for everything that you do. And there's just always something to think about. It's just like, yeah, there are people who will watch your content for the right reasons, because they enjoy it, but there will always be people but you may come across people, or you may not know, that there may be people who are there who may want to hurt you in some way, or find a way to hurt you in some way. But don't be afraid of that. Always be either people who are enjoying your content, people who watch it because they want to watch. You never know who's watching. And that can be a good thing, and that can be a bad thing. It just really has kind of a way to kind of how you carry yourself on the internet and on the platforms. And I hope that's something you guys can get, you know, out of out of as I'm finishing this piece right here. But yeah, it's just like, you know, you're always gonna be watched. You're always gonna be looked over. You're always gonna be viewed on. You know, when you post something out, it's always gonna be out there. It never hurts to always play it safe sometimes, but at the same time, don't be afraid to post something that you may be passionate about, or you may be happy about, or maybe something that you want to talk about. You know, stand by your convictions and such. Don't let that feeling scare you. Don't let them scare you for saying what you want to say. So that's kind of has it. I hope you guys kind of got what I was saying here and kind of try to tie it into the drawing itself. So let me know what you guys think about this kind of topic, and I'll always love to hear from you guys. And as always, thanks for listening.
So if you see me in the lab with a pen and a pad, I'm trying to write a verse that's doper than my lab.
So that was page 28 of Maki's sketch diary. Man, I cannot believe we're at 28 pages, nearly 30 pages in the sketchbook. Man, we came a long way from January, isn't it? Anyway, I'd like to hear from you guys about this topic and what are your thoughts about it. So please let me know in the comment section down below, and especially in the chats and such. And as always, like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications so you never miss out on a future video. Plenty of stuff coming up in the fall, and I'm very looking forward to every single one of it, and I hope to share it all with you guys as we keep growing and keep on moving. So, as always, I am Maki, artist, journeyman, and illustrator, and I'll see y'all next time for another video. Until then, take care, much love, and as always, never stop drawing.